Hello adventure riders from around the world. Hello internet, it's now 11:44 in the morning. Okay, hello. This video is a sort of comparison between my old bike, the BMW 1200 GS Adventure, the big Rhino, and the Tenere 700. So here's a few categories that I sort of compare the two bikes. So the first one would be, let's start with the boring side, the economy side. This one, the Tenere 700, new, costs less than half of what my BMW costed when it was new. So yeah, it's quite a lot of money in between. Also, it's mechanically much more simple. Not a lot of electronics and dynamic suspensions and stuff like that. So the maintenance and the service is also about half price, I would say. Not quite, but almost. And my intention is, since it's a much simpler bike, I can do a lot more of it on my own later on. Second category, off-road. I really liked the BMW off-road with a low center of gravity and a real set of tires, knobby tires on it. It was unstoppable until it stopped. So if you got into trouble with it, you're alone, and I guess that's my point there, is that I like to go alone also, and I'd rather go alone on a lighter bike than on the big BMW. I got stuck a few times. I had to make some phone calls to get the bike out of a mud hole, and yeah, so riding off-road on this bike, I mean, it's about 750%, I thought I calculated, to much more fun on this one, because it's much more flickable, and yeah, it wants to go off-road and have fun. Another category would be comfort, I guess. And nothing beats the BMW when it comes to comfort in adventure bikes. But I mean, if you want more fun off-road, I knew I was getting a less comfortable bike, and I was okay with that. But I'm also a bit surprised how well it does on the highway. Highway and tarmac, that means transport. You're just getting from A to B in my world, and you need to do that and survive, and that you do on this bike. Actually, this little windscreen, it's quite good. Of course, you get more wind on your upper body, but when I was on the BMW, I was much more shielded from the wind. But when I got to the sort of where the wind protection stopped, I got much more buffeting. This one has less wind protection, of course, you're much more exposed to the wind, but it's all very smooth wind coming over you. It's nothing with all the loud noises and stuff like that. So it's yeah, much smoother. So, and the seat, it depends on your own built-in suspension, I guess. I come from mountain biking a lot, and that's no comfort seats there, so this is really good. I spent the full day on it, and I had no problem with it. So yeah, I can go far on it. I wouldn't take a pillion on this one for a long trip. Normally I just go for ice cream runs with my daughter anyway at home, so this is good enough. But on the long trips, it's me and my luggage. Tires, it's not really a topic. I mean, you put on whatever you want on your bike. What comes on it, the Scorpion Rally STRs, I actually saved them for summer, because in Sweden autumn and winter and spring, it's soft, it's wet, and it's muddy. So I tried out for the first time actually the Mitas E09, and the rear wheel is really aggressive, just screams it wants to go off-road. The front tire likes to go on Sunday walks in the forest more. It doesn't really scream off-road, but yeah, I'm trying them out. When it comes to luggage, going on the long trips or whatever, you want, of course, the BMW. I mean, you could pack a lot. I don't like the big aluminium boxes, but still you could just put a lot on there, and your wife's stuff also. With this bike, I'm thinking more simplistic. I enjoy making the luggage smaller and smaller on this bike, because I don't want to ruin the off-road fun part of it. So I haven't got them on right now, but I have a set of Enduristan Monsoon 3, and they will fit on here, but they will hang down over the exhaust. So I have a spacer from Enduristan also, so I can let that go there. And this is actually the tank bag from Enduristan, the Sandstorm 4H, I think it is, the soft and enduro style thing. But I don't like tank bags that much. It's the last bag I put on the bike if just if I need it. KTM 790, they have a much lower tank, so the tank bag on a KTM would not get so high up in the air, so and ruin the, it wouldn't build that high. But on the Tenere, the tank is quite high, and to build on that with a tank bag is not ideal in my world. So yeah, that's why I fitted. I just tried it out, and the tank bag fits quite good on the pillion seat also, at least for these shorter runs. Okay, so features or systems on the bike. The best feature of this bike is the no feature. On the BMW I had all sorts of riding modes and settings, and yeah, for luggage and pillion and riding modes and rain and whatever. But on the Tenere, I mean, you have the throttle, you have the clutch, you have 2 brakes, and if you want you have ABS, but that's more for the Euro 4 certification, I guess. So I mean, and it's I wouldn't want to ride the BMW without all the assist systems that it has, because it's heavy and extremely powerful. So there is no traction control on this bike, but first of all, it's more fun when it spins, but then you also, if you don't want it to spin, you have much more contact with the ground. You feel when it's spinning and not, and the sensitivity of the throttle is that you can easily, it's so soft, this engine, you can easily control your rear wheel anyway, so that's good. And other systems, I haven't missed them at all. I just love going from soft to hard and wet and whatever, and just ride the bike. And that's what it's all about, I guess. One warning though, because I came from the BMW and with all the systems and also the curve ABS and everything, with these knobbies on this bike, and when you slow down for a turn, and you change gear down to second gear just before the turn, and when you let the clutch up, it's a bit wet on the tarmac, knob is on. When you release that clutch, it slides, it locks the rear wheel so easily. So you have to be really sensitive and careful when you do that. And looks, that's all subjective, I guess, but the BMW looks mean in a M1 Abrams kind of way, but this is the car style, and I really like it. I opted for the mud sprinkle on it. It was not that much extra, and also I got the red color because it's a bit faster than the blue or the black, and I also added the stickers here for some extra horsepower, like so. It's snowing. It's the time of year. One major thing for me with this bike was the size of it, but not just weight wise. 200 kilos is good if you come from above, from the BMW, but I'm talking about this narrow bike. It's great. I can because I haven't got a garage at home, but I have sort of a shed. I can fit this one through the normal door into my shed, so that's great. And also getting through some really tight places with a boxer engine on the BMW. I didn't dare go through, or it was really tight going through some places, but this bike can really squeeze in between things. Yeah, so now it's me and my Tenere, and we're going on some adventures, and there will be a lot of videos from that, I guess. So I really enjoy this bike. I bought it unseen, and I really recommend anyone who sort of fits into the traveling off-road adventure category to go for it. Oh, I forgot to show you something. I put the bike on the ground. It's much lighter, 200 kilos instead of 260 from the BMW. So it should be much easier to pick up, but it's not. It's just as hard to pick up this bike as the BMW, in my opinion, because it falls much more flat to the ground. The BMW never hits the ground really, because it's resting on the boxer. So yeah, here's a pickup video from here. Yeah, so I mean, that went well, but the level of exercise I get from picking this one up is pretty much the same. The only disadvantage really with the BMW, if it fell so that it fell flat to the ground, then of course it was tough to pick up. But yeah, we'll manage. Bye bye.